Hello, dear ones. We are Laarkmaa, and we are here to support your evolution. How can we help you? And please give us your heart song. That is your name and your own voice, so we may synchronize our energy with yours.
Hi, Laarkmaa. My name is Ted, and I'm so happy to have you today here on my show.
Hello, Ted. We were delighted to participate with you and your audience. What questions did you want to ask for our perspective?
I guess the first question comes to mind is how best can people on an individual basis help others and themselves with preparing for the new earth and raising consciousness for the ascension?
On this planet, you have been taught that you should always help others, but you often forget that you must also help yourself. The greatest way to supply help and benefit for others is to become the highest version of you, so that your energy is at its highest, most functional aspect, thereby radiating light outwards to benefit others on their journey of healing and evolution. So we would say to focus upon keeping yourself in a high vibratory state, and in that state, your heart will automatically guide you moment by moment in knowing what to do and how to help. So rather than trying to figure out how you can help others from your third dimensional perspective, simply move into your multidimensionality. Being a multidimensional being in a higher vibration is more helpful than anything you can do from figuring things out at a third dimensional perspective. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you for sharing that, because I often get many questions on that regard. Laarkmaa, I've heard that the negative energies, they're peaking this month, but they're going to be waning starting next month, and they'll continue to decline to the point where many of the negatives will be forced off the planet as the vibrations go higher and higher here on this planet. Is that true? And how do you look at that situation?
Well, we have a slightly different perspective than you do. From our perspective, the negatives are not on this planet at this time. Only the negative humans who have been influenced by negatives in previous times are here on the planet. All those who would cause harm from interstellar perspective are no longer allowed to be within your space. So they're not here. It's not a matter of their disappearing, but the shadow effects of how they have influenced humanity will be lessening and disappearing. This will especially be seen around the middle of next month when the eclipse energy comes in with a new moon, helping all energies that do not belong here to have a portal to exit. So you will feel, see, sense, and know that there is an exit of negative energy happening, but it is not, from our perspective, negatives themselves, as you call them, or bad extraterrestrials, as other people call them. Those interstellars who wish to cause harm to this planet are no longer allowed in your space. There's a field of light ships all around Earth, preventing any entry from those who would cause you harm. All of the harm at this point is being done by those humans who have aligned with dark energies and who are carrying out their work.
There will come to a point soon, won't it, when these humans allied with the dark energies will no longer be allowed here as well. Is that true?
It's not a matter of not allowing them. They simply will not be able to survive in the higher energy that you are building. As you bring higher and higher energies into yourself, and each person working with the light is doing the same thing, the atmosphere of your planet shifts as well. More and more light will not allow what supports those who are coming from the dark. So it's not that they will not be allowed by law or by some force against them. You yourselves, as you move more into light, will be doing what is necessary so that those who are coming from a perspective of the dark will not be able to survive here on this planet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. That makes a good explanation. Thanks. What kinds of things do you see happen? I know the timelines can change depending upon our free will. But at this point, what kinds of things do you see happening the rest of the year here on the planet?
Well, we do not see time in the way you do because time is a third dimensional construct.
Right.
What we encourage you to do and look at is rather than focusing upon a future that has not arrived or a past where you have experienced trauma and suffering, we encourage you to focus on the present now moment, for that is where the energy is alive. And it is only in the living energy of the now that change can take place. This is where all the action happens, in the now moment. So the trends and trajectory that we see as possibilities is that more and more people are beginning to wish to align with new paradigm understanding that they must raise their own vibration. They must open their heart to listen to and accept a greater reality. They must release their old belief systems. And doing this requires a bit of chaos on your planet. So we see a period of great chaos and a lot of challenges, giving you fantastic opportunities to release what no longer serves you and help you to move into a position of being able to be the highest aspect of yourselves that you can be. There is a great split going on your planet. So because this is a planet of choice, those who do not wish to experience this chaos or do not wish to change their beliefs and move into the new paradigm to be able to go to the new earth, they will be going in the great split into a holding pattern in what we like to call the golden trough of light, where they will remain until they can be transported to another planet where they can continue their wheel of karma, which is a very slow process of learning. For the rest of you who are wishing to work with the light and wishing to ascend with this planet, your sense of time is accelerating because you are becoming more aligned with the concept of constantly being in the now, which flows into the next now moment and the next now moment and the next now moment, rather than aligning yourselves with a perceived or hoped for future. You are aligning with being here, now, in the energy. And the more you do that, the more you get to participate with the energy to make the changes that you wish to see. We do see that this period of change that's going to be beginning, it's already begun, but it will be beginning to accelerate even more. We do see that this trend for change will be accelerating all the way through what you perceive as your 2024. But as you begin to see the now moment more clearly and focus less and less on the perceived past or the imagined future, you will no longer be focused on what's going to happen in 2024 or 2025 or the next day even. You'll be focused on this is now, and before you know it, the next now that you're asking about will already be here. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah. For the various corrupt governments around the world, and we could talk for the next probably week on all the different awful governments around the world. I don't see them lasting for very much longer as the vibrations continue to rise. What will happen to them? Will they go off into their own reality and leave us light workers and people who want to create a better planet alone? What do you think will happen to them?
Those who are aligned with the shadows of the dark energies that have influenced them, or those who are afraid, deeply immersed in fear and control, and do not wish to change their belief systems, will go away to what we have explained as the golden trough of light. Their energy will just simply no longer be able to be sustained in the higher vibratory energy of this planet. But not all who have been manipulated by the agenda in the various governments fall in that category. There are also some good people, although few, who are trying to be good leaders, and they will awaken more and more and more as the energies on the planet rise to a higher level, and they will then be making choices to drop their old beliefs and move more fully into how can we invite in partnership, camaraderie, cooperation amongst all nations on this planet, because they will begin to realize we are one species, and we are going to be moving forward in our evolution as one together, rather than fighting each other over our perceived separation and differences.
I hope you don't mind me listing an example, but I do like Mexico and the government of Mexico. Are they an example of one such enlightened government?
Not all, but many in that country do indeed reach out to incorporate no boundaries, higher vibrational thinking, more unity consciousness. Not all are like that, but many in that government are. And
Right.
that is a government that you can look towards in the future, showing other leaders around the world how to be happy, how to be cooperative, how to get along, how to sustain yourselves on food that is natural to your planet. All governments, however, must deal with the conundrum of killing, because all governments still support the eating of meat, which is involving killing of your food. As long as you are killing for your food, you will be killing each other in war. So all governments need to deal with that in order to create the peaceful kingdom you are trying to create on the new earth.
And that includes fish as well, doesn't it?
Anything that is alive that you kill is part of the energy of killing, an unconscious choice, an ignorant choice of not respecting that all life is sacred.
Very wise words. Thank you so much. For the future, people listening today, if you were going to give a short bit of advice to people, would you tell them to remain strong, know that better times are ahead, and we should all work together to create a beautiful new earth?
Those are excellent words that come straight from your heart and that make us smile because they touch our hearts as well. Indeed, we would say, summon your courage and be strong, for the chaos and the challenges that you face are only the necessary steps of a birthing process, taking you into a lighter and lighter environment, a more beautiful planet. But you have to make choices from this place of strength to let go of old belief systems that do not work, old patterns of behavior that do not serve you. And you must indeed begin to think of everyone on the planet in the spirit of what we call I am another yourself, which is reflected in the Mayan word in Lakesh. And the other principle that has to be key in your evolutionary process comes from the Sanskrit word of ahimsa, meaning do no harm. This reflects doing no harm in your thoughts, in the tones that you use, the words that you choose, the actions you choose, the food that you eat. Everything that you do in higher energy consciousness must come from a place of do no harm. This is how we evolved in our own evolutionary process. It is something that you must evolve to realize as an everyday condition also, so that every choice you make constantly is for the highest good for all and includes everyone when you think what is the best for all.
I think not to be repetitive, but I think I may have asked this question before, but it's worth repeating. Did your civilization of the Pleiadians, did you go through a similar kind of struggle, if you will, in the past when you were going through the ascension process many millennia ago?
All evolutionary processes, no matter what the species, must go through a period of chaos, a period of challenge, and a period of moving into new ways of perceiving how to be in higher consciousness. Each evolutionary species, Pleiadian, Arcturian, Orion, all of them have their own societal things that must be put aside, their own belief systems, their own ways of interacting, their own things that they do on a regular basis. They must learn the principles of Lakesh and Ahimsa. The principles of the unity that we are seeking comes from honoring and respecting each other as being the same and consciously choosing to do no harm. Yes, Pleiadians also went through an evolutionary process, but the difference is that on your planet, you have evolutionary guidance in the form of your emotions. Emotions are not your entire range of feelings. You come to this planet with your natural feeling states: love, joy, trust, compassion, patience, kindness, generosity, gratitude. These are your natural feeling states. The emotions: anger, rage, fear, sadness, grief, jealousy, frustration. Those are your gift, because those are places that show you through your discomfort how you are out of balance and what you must do to change your thought system and your actions to find peace and harmony so that you can evolve. So the evolutionary process on this planet is much more intensely focused upon how you feel, and do you take advice from those feelings in order to move forward. A planet of choice requires giving you the opportunity to listen to what the emotional signals tell you and then choose. Do I wish to move beyond this through change, or do I wish to stay stuck and continue to suffer?
Interesting. Good point. Thank you. Thank you so much. The Earth truly is a huge school, isn't it? With many lessons here. And
yes. Yes, and remember, please, that mistakes that you make are simply things that you learn from. They are not, as your religions teach you, they are not sins or something you have done wrong. Mistakes simply mean learning, that you are learning how to do things differently. So by understanding that, you can move beyond feelings of blame or guilt into, oh, look what lesson I learned. I'm going to do things differently now, which is a much higher and more elevated way of seeing your experiences. All experiences are just that, experiences. And through their being simple experiences, when you do not judge them, and when you take the experience as a lesson, you gain in your evolutionary process.
One important issue that's come up is, of course, is the influence, my friend, of artificial intelligence here on this planet. It's just starting now, and I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are a little naive about it, and they embrace it wholeheartedly without recognizing the dangers inherent in such technology, because it can take you over and cut off your connections to your soul and to God as well. I would love some advice on that as well, for people to be perhaps more discerning about AI?
Well, first of all, it is a bit naive to think that it is just now starting. Artificial intelligence has been around your planet, and you have been utilizing it ever since the military began teaching people how to use computers, and then turned computers over to the public for communication and other things. That is nothing more than artificial intelligence. So it's been around for a long time. And you have been conditioned to believe that everything that you do with artificial intelligence is going to make your life simpler, easier, bring more flow. What the use of artificial intelligence actually does is monitor your actions, your choices, and learn to control you through knowing and predicting how you will respond or react in any given situation. Now you have the added danger of the Internet of Things, which allows all artificial intelligence across your planet to synchronize with each other and to communicate, creating a network of artificial thinking machines with no heart, who cannot make conscious choices, who do not understand the concepts of I am another yourself, and I will do what I can to love and support you, or the concept of ahimsa, do no harm. Artificial intelligence operates on what it perceives as efficiency, not on what is true of heart-guided wisdom. We suggest that you return to nature, give up your smartphones, limit your use of computers and tablets, do not have a smart television, walk away from smart houses, smart communities, and smart cars, and wake up to recognize all of these things are in alignment with the agenda to enslave humanity. That's what we suggest to do for the highest good of all. We will leave you with this thought to think about this, and for your listeners to assimilate this piece of wisdom. Let your hearts listen to what we have just suggested from our perspective. If you listen quietly and you notice how you feel about what we have just said, you will find it resonates with the truth. And then you can be empowered to make completely different, higher, and better choices.
Thank you, Laarkmaa, for coming on today. It's so good to talk to you.
We love you. Good always.
We love you too. Thank you for your wisdom.